starting Be'ez Hashem Siman Chaf Gimel Vayoel Moshe, and this is the continuation of what he's been saying for the last 10 Simanim, 13 Simanim, that basically there won't be any Kibbutz Galius before Bias Mashiach. He says, and even though the Avnei Nezer says it's possible that the government will give permission, but that won't be a heter to go up Aliyah B'Choyma, because it can't be that Hashem wants Yidden in Eretz Yisrael before Bias Mashiach. He says, V'ho'olam mikol ha'makubutz. What we come out from all the things we said in the last 13 simanim is shebaharba mekoyim is mefurish yoytze b'divrei Chazal. It's explicit in the words of Chazal sheHaKadosh Baruch Hu omer shebechol meshech yimei hagalus that throughout galus ad bias hamashiach giyu Yisrael mefuzarim. Jews will be scattered b'chol arba kanfos haaretz v'zeh v'adei shetzarich shiyu be'eretz Yisrael oivdei Hashem b'tahara. That there will always need to be some Yidden in Eretz Yisrael, in the holy places. U'ladas Rambam zal, hu hechreach b'shvil kiddush hachodesh v'hamoedim. You know, the Rambam shita is that that's how we have months nowadays. That even though we don't have kiddush levana al pi re'iyah, we don't have kiddush hachodesh by a bezin in Eretz Yisrael, but we have a calendar, and the calendar figures out when Rosh Chodesh is.
No, that's why Hillel Rebbe set the calendar. Hillel should chas v'shol lose the mitzvah of Kiddush Levana as a result of the loss of a bezin. So you set the calendar so we should have an even goals.
Right, but Rambam's shita is that even though Hillel set the calendar, really Hillel was being megala to us the cheshbon, but he didn't actually make Kiddush HaChodesh in the year 2015 because he can't do that in advance. The Ramban holds he could. The Ramban says that Hillel was Mekadosh all the months and all the Moedim, everything up till Bias Mashiach. But the Rambam, the Sefer Mitzvahs, by the way, I think it's Kufna and Gimel, the Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs, he says this, what the Rebbe is saying here, that if there will be no Jews in Eretz Yisrael, since we have this cheshbon, the cheshbon is megala to us what the Jews in Eretz Yisrael were Mekadosh, what day they kept Yom Tov, or whatever, what day they kept Rosh Chodesh. And if there would be no Jews in Eretz Yisrael, then the whole thing would be chas v'sholom batel. So he says, "Ulechol adayis kiyum haTorah v'amitzvah shalom chashuv b'yakar yoiser aden Shiur." For sure, everyone agrees. The Ramban, the Rambam, all agree that being Mekayim mitzvahs in Eretz Yisrael is a great and precious thing. Kasher yisbar b'Maamar Sheni. I'll speak about this in Maamar Sheni. V'tzarich lis ametz b'chol oifen v'oifen. So therefore, we have to put effort into supporting the Jews in Eretz Yisrael. L'hachzik es toishvei haaretz b'gashmius u'v'ruchnius b'chol ma'ad efsher. We have to send them money and be mechazik them as much as possible. Befrat achshav, especially nowadays, that he's writing now after Hakamas Medina, she says, "Shehechreach la'tzilam mizer maminus." We have to save them from the flow of heresy that's going on now. Rahman v'tzlan. V'kama yegiyos mutal aleinu avur hachzakas toishvei haaretz kanoida. We have a lot of effort that we have to put into supporting Yidden in Eretz Yisrael. He says, I myself did a lot on this front. You know, the Rebbe went to Eretz Yisrael first after the war for a year, and then he realized that in order to support his moistus in Eretz Yisrael, he would have to go and live in America and raise the money in America and send it there. And that's exactly what he did. He became appointed as the Rav of Yerushalayim, but he lived in America. Every few years, he would travel to Eretz Yisrael, bring them all the money, and come back with empty pockets and back.
Which proves what I said, that if you want to truly do good for Eretz Yisrael, rather than spending the 1.5 hours on traveling, give the money to families in Eretz Yisrael instead. Believe me, the Gedol of Eretz Yisrael would send their biggest thank yous that we're actually supporting Eretz Yisrael rather than using for our own selfish purpose. Believe the Gedol would give the biggest thank yous to the Yisrael of America.
It's true. The amount of money people spend on flights there is just
believe the Gedol would be so happy. They would send their biggest thank you letters for truly helping Eretz Yisrael rather than using the Eretz Yisrael for one's own selfish purposes.
And that's what there's a famous thing that one person once asked that how could the Satmar Rebbe be against living in Eretz Yisrael if he's constantly supporting the Yidden in Eretz Yisrael? Which is a silly question because he held that the Yidden are supposed to live there. But the second thing is that the answer was, I forgot who said this answer, but the answer is, it's a mashal. Maybe the Satmar Rebbe himself said the mashal, I don't know. A mashal to a child who was kidnapped by the priests, and they kept him in a cell there, and they said, we're not giving you any food until you bow to the cross. So he says, okay, I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to bow to the cross. So what does his father do? His father can't get him out of jail,
but he sends
him food so he won't have to bow. So that's what the Satmar Rebbe was doing. He was sending support to the Jews in Eretz Yisrael so that they shouldn't have to bow to Zionism and take the support from Zionism.
Because the Zionist goal is to make Jews depend on them and give them their money, so they should, have no way out from them.
Okay, so he says, but those who say Shekol Yisrael mikol mekoyim Moshe v'seim Yisrael Eretz Yisrael, that all Jews in the world should all go to Eretz Yisrael. Kol elu medabrim b'fem molin neged kol divrei Chachamenu zal. They're speaking against all the words of Chachamim. Shebekama mekoyim b'shas v'midrashim kisvi hari. All the things that he quoted in the last 13 Simanim. V'hu be'emes haflo fella. It's really unbelievable. Ha'ech yirhavu oiz b'nafsham. How is it possible that people could have such a chutzpah? Even those who keep the Torah a little bit, to speak things against such explicit things in the words of Chazal.
And besides, you find so many Chachamim, but for din literature, suddenly moved from Eretz Yisrael.
He moved out of Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah, moved from like Rav, who was titled Rav, because he was not just an ordinary Chacham, like Rebbe was titled Rebbe, because he don't think like any other great Chacham. Because Rav was great enough to still argue with Tanaim, and he was second Rebbe in his time. And we find that he left Eretz Yisrael as a service to the community in Babel. They didn't say the community in Babel, come live with me.
Right, and then he says, Gam yesh bazeh ha'avar ala Shevuos shelo yalu b'chayma. If everyone comes to Eretz Yisrael, it depends what the number is, but we spoke about it, but it will be a transgression of the Shevuah. Ve'enam samim al lev. They don't take to heart, they don't think about the fact that this idea that all Jews should go to Eretz Yisrael was really a creation of heretics, even though religious Zionists say it now, but it was started by Herzl and started by Weitzman and people like that.
You don't find the Amoraim ever saying this, that we should all go back to Eretz Yisrael and build a big Torah in Eretz Yisrael.
Because they wanted to catch Klal Yisrael in their net. Like Reb Chaim said, that they wanted the Medina in order to shmad Klal Yisrael, not the other way around. These Rishonim who made up the idea, they don't believe in Hashem's Gzeira, that He's looking over the Yidden. In order to confuse the religious Jews, the Zionists gave it a name of the love of the land and Eretz Yisrael, Kibbutz Goliath, Shalei Kadas, but that's completely wrong. Hashem Yirachim, Hashem should have mercy. So in the words that I've said up till now, we've explained the first two oaths of the three oaths. The oath not to rebel against the nations. It's going on any rebellion. And the one about not going up as a wall, it goes on coming up to Eretz Yisrael together, afim hu b'rshus, even with permission, because then if it wouldn't be permission, it would be a merida, right? Like he said before. Even if the Goyim forced us to go up, like the Maharal said, even then it would be us to go up, because we're not allowed to go up as a wall altogether before the Geula. Ad kan yishkach.